Keter Sanctuary in DBT10 looks to be like they will be getting the short end of the stick because none of their support actually is relevant. I mean, they did reveal like Solairon, the Pope, but then again, the support for the other right line within Keter Sanctuary does not seem that great. These are not really must-have support, but they are still quite decent. But who knows? You might just prove me wrong. This video is sponsored by Phoenix Pharos cards. If you need supplies of singles or splits for Cardfight Vanguard, especially the ones in the video, do check out Phoenix Pharos cards today, and as a bonus, use the promo code MetaNerd to get an amazing 5% discount. And with that being said, let's get on with the video. Greetings YouTube, welcome back to the MetaNerd channel. I am Marcus, bringing you another video for Cardfight Vanguard Willdress. In this video, we will be going through the Keter Sanctuary major support wrap up for DBT10. As mentioned before, nothing really much has been revealed for Keter Sanctuary. Most of them are quite optional. Most of these supports are catered towards Solairon, so it actually does make sense. But then again, this set does not really change Keter Sanctuary right lines within Keter Sanctuaries all that much. Probably the biggest support for Keter Sanctuary is the cycle card, but then again, every single nation does have them. Without further ado, let's take a look at what Keter Sanctuary is getting for DBT10. First off, we have Sacrosanct Dragon. Although when this unit is placed on rearguard circle by your card's ability, this unit gets 5k power until the end of turn. If this unit was placed from deck, cost Soul Blast 1, draw a card, and this unit gets boost until the end of turn. It's a great Superior Call target if of course your decks do have stuff that basically could Superior Call, which I don't think there is a lot at the moment. Most of the Superior Call targets are basically either from the top deck or, you know, specific searcher, so there's not really a lot of Superior Calling to go around, at least from the deck that is. But still, if you do manage to Superior Call this by an ability, this is basically a 15k attacker or booster, while it also lets you draw a card, which is definitely nice. Soul Blast 1 to draw a card is definitely good. Not that great in terms of deck building, but then again, it is a unit to be considered. One other right line that could potentially use this is probably Tigrea, because Tigrea is one of the other cards that I think has like a very consistent way of Superior Calling stuff. But then again, this card will just be like a 15k and a booster for one turn, and that's it. So probably a dead card. But of course, we need to wait until like a future support that basically could help you to recall this card for you to keep using his skill over and over, which is going to be quite scary. Not bad, but not great. Next, we have Replenishment Angel. Auto rearguard circle. When this unit boosts a rearguard, if you have a grade 3 or greater stand Vanguard, cost Counterblast 1, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 cards from among them, put them on top of your deck in any order, and put the rest onto the bottom in any order. I mean, this is basically like a bonus unit. I don't think this card is a necessary or a must-have card to run inside any Keter Sanctuary, because it's just basically like a bonus for you to check the top 2. You could basically just send both those cards to the bottom of the deck, or if those 2 are triggers, you can just maintain it on top. Personally speaking, this card does not bring any value other than, you know, confirming your triggers, which, you know, sometimes it's better to run cards that basically generates you value. Maybe Solairon can use this once again, as well as Hexa Orb, because those 2 cards does rely on looking at the top deck, so it actually makes sense for those 2 to run this card. But then again, it's still like quite expensive because, you know, Counterblast 1. Counterblast is going to be very expensive, but who knows? You might just prove me wrong, but at the end of the day, this card is not that great. However, if you do find like deck spaces to even run this card, you could stack triggers very efficiently, because checking top 2 is just disgusting. It's just disgusting. Very nice card, but at the moment, she is just a nice to have support rather than a must-have support. Next, we have Truncate Dragon. Although when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, look at the top card of your deck and put it on top or the bottom of your deck. If you put a card on the bottom, look at the top card of your deck. So it's basically a similar skill to Replenishment Angel, but this card does not really cost any Counterblast or Soul Blast for that matter, which is definitely nice. And the big difference here between Truncate Dragon and Replenishment Angel is that Truncate Breath Dragon is just a one-off. You call it down and that's it. The next turn, he's just dead. He's basically a dead card. But of course, while Replenishment Angel does cost you 1 Counterblast, you are able to keep using it, provided you have the resources to do so. But both of these cards actually do the same thing. It's just that one is not really reusable. But then again, you are using precious Counterblast, so not that great. But once again, this card is catered more towards Hexa Orb as well as Sorairon. Those two cards really like to look at the top deck. Next, we have Academic of Demonstration Pyrrhic. Auto Rearguard Circle. When a normal unit is revealed by the ability of your Vanguard with Sorairon in its card name, until the end of turn, this unit gets boost and power +5. I mean, this is basically a 15k booster despite being a grade 2, which is definitely nice. And since Sorairon does have ways to confirm the top deck is a normal unit, this skill is definitely live as soon as you're able to put one of your normal units to the top deck. And not to mention, there is an extra 5k from Sorairon himself, effectively making this card a 20k booster, which is quite huge. And from what I see, Sorairon is hitting for numbers. It's crazy. It's really crazy that how big Sorairon's column can get. And with this being a bonus card, it's just disgusting. However, even if this card is like really great, you should only run this if you have like a sufficient utility unit in your deck list, because this card effectively does not do anything other than, you know, wait for Sorairon to put normal unit to the top deck and activate his skill. This card effectively is doing nothing. He's doing nothing for your deck. He's just there. Like, he's just there. It's pretty unfortunate, but hey, there's nothing really much you can do about it. The same can be said for the next card, which is Academic of Inspiration Intirus. Although when this card is placed on Rearguard Circle from deck, this unit gets 10k power until the end of turn. This card, once again, is going to be an 18k booster or attacker if you superior call this from the deck, most likely by using Sorairon, or if you are feeling ballsy. If you are feeling lucky, you could gamble to have this card on the top 3 by using Drilling Angel, but I don't think you will want to do that. This card, of course, will definitely go much higher in power. I mean, currently it's an 18k, but Sorairon does have skill that basically give the whole board 5k, so this is effectively a 23k attacker. Lines up really well with a 10k attacker. Very nice. But once again, you should only run this kind of support if you have sufficient utility unit. Sorairon is a deck that really needs a lot of utility. If you have like a sufficient amount of those utility units, then you can go ahead to run either Intirus or the previous grade 2. These two cards are just bonus. You don't necessarily have to run them. Personally, after putting all of the utility units inside Sorairon, I do not think you have the space to put even these two cards, but it's just my opinion. Next is Academic of Order Olderio. Okay. Auto Rearguard Circle. When your other grade 1 or less unit is placed on Rearguard Circle from deck, you may put that unit into their soul. If you put a card, this unit gets 5k power until the end of turn. This is a unit that basically provides you soul resources while still gaining a small power every time you put a card that was superior call from the deck into their soul. This does help decks that basically are superior calling a lot of units, as well as severely hungry for soul. It's okay in terms of giving you soul resources, but at the same time, you need to sacrifice your superior calling targets in order to get the 5k. So how big are you gonna get? Generally, we do not have a lot of stuff that superior calls from the top deck within Keter Sanctuary at the moment. We don't really have a lot of stuff. We don't really have skills that, like the OG days, where you just superior call top 5 of your deck and then, you know, just put everything to the soul and this unit gets a... We don't really have that kind of skill at the moment, but still, it is okay to get resources and as well as a little bit of power. But then again, if you top deck a trigger and you are forced to call it, yeah, you can just put to soul and this unit gets a 5k. Not that bad. Lastly, we have Magic of Water Droplets Utatalu. Although when this unit is put on Guardian Circle, if you have a Vanguard with Sorceress in its card name, look at the top card of your deck and put it on the top or bottom of your deck. Basically a defensive unit for Hexa Orb to basically increase your chances of your damage checking triggers. This is a defensive unit, which is not that bad, but you could basically like test the waters to see what's on your top deck, and then you can just plan ahead on which attack to take to give yourself more power, which is definitely nice. And also it does helps you cycle through your deck and could potentially get yourself like a key pieces to your whole Hexa Orb combo. But then again, the question here remains the same. Who are you going to replace to run something this defensive, and why not run maximum copy of your key pieces? That's basically the big question you have to ask yourself. The bigger implication of this card is basically confirming whether or not your top deck has a trigger, and yeah, that's basically what this card does. Not necessarily a must unit to run, once again. Only run if you have like an extra space. Otherwise, this card isn't really that great. And that is all for this video. Do let me know down in the comment section of what do you think of the Keter Sanctuary wrap up. In hindsight, Keter Sanctuary does not really receive like a good amount of stuff. It's probably due to the mass units that we have currently in DBT10 that is taking away all the supports, like the good supports. So Keter Sanctuary does not really receive a lot of really good stuff as opposed to the other 4 nations. But who knows, the future sets might just change everything. Do like and subscribe if you like this video, and of course do ring the bell notification icon so that you don't miss a video I upload. With that being said, I'll see you all on the field.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.